Welcome to everybody at Arizona Drone Fest. This panel is Drones Save Lives. We've got several members on the panel. Pretty much everybody is either currently serving in public safety or has served in public safety in the past, and everybody has impressive resumes. I'm just going to kind of touch on everyone briefly. I'd encourage you to go to the Arizona Drone Fest website to look at everybody's bios and learn about them a little bit more in depth. My name is Brian Leventhal. I'm going to moderate the panel. I'm currently about 20 years in law enforcement. I'm with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, where I'm a state trooper. I got involved in UAS by using drones to map crash scenes. I've recently transferred to our aircraft operations unit, where I'm training to fly helicopters. But let me get on with our panelists. So first, we've got Fritz Reber. He is the head of public safety integration at Skydio, where he works closely with public safety agencies to help them utilize Skydio in their operations. Prior to his career at Skydio, Fritz was a captain with the Chula Vista Police Department, where he retired after 27 years of service. He was the UAS team commander and a visionary behind DFR, or Drones as a First Responder operations. He authored the DFR concept of operations for the FAA IPP submission and co-authored the safety case for Chula Vista PD's DFR BV loss waiver, as well as the most recent tactical BV loss waiver. Next, we've got Don Redmond. Don is a captain with the Chula Vista Police Department, where he has served for 24 years and currently oversees the UAS program, including the Drone as a First Responder program with the San Diego IPP. Fritz and Don have worked together for a number of years. Next, we've got Wayne Baker. Wayne is the Director of Public Safety Integration at DJI. Prior to joining DJI, Wayne served as a firefighter and paramedic, and most recently was the Chief of Emergency Management Coordinator for the city of Joshua in Texas. And we also have with us Derrick Ward. Derrick is a career firefighter for the last 32 years with the Los Angeles City Fire Department. He was assigned to Station 80 at LAX International Airport. Derrick served as the co-lead remote pilot for the LAFD UAS program, where he was instrumental in getting agency program approval, developing the UAS curriculum, training, and obtaining the department's FAA COA, or Certificate of Authorization. So welcome to everybody on the panel. I appreciate you joining us, and looking forward to learning everything that you can share with us about drones saving lives and how you use them in public safety. So let's just kind of start out. How are you seeing UAS being used in public safety? And I'll kind of direct this one maybe at Wayne and Fritz.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here today. It's I want to say, great panel that I get to be a part of, and I really appreciate that. I'll just say my experience, I was talking about this with someone just today, was initially just to get that aerial view on an incident, on a building fire or a wildland fire, just get that top-down view that I wasn't getting previously. And you know, I actually started out with a small list that we went to our council to tell them we were going to use them on. And that list has grown and grown. And even today, I saw some more ideas on ways that they can be utilized. You know, everything on my perspective on the fire side, you know, and Don can talk more to law enforcement, obviously. But, you know, for us, getting that aerial perspective on a house fire when thermal imaging was added, that was phenomenal, because now I can see the roof integrity before I commit crews into or on top of that roof. Search and rescue, it was a tremendous value. You know, and then on wildland fires, again, I was getting that actionable data where the fire was, what was ahead of it. But now with thermal, I was getting more assurance that we were getting the containment lines secured on that fire. And, you know, countless others, but I would say one of the biggest that was tapped was hazmat. That was one of those areas that I really wanted to see this utilized for, because for me, it's about firefighter and police officer safety. And anytime we could send a robot in, that we didn't have to send a human in, just like with our work with Swiftwater Rescue, and using these. Hazmat was the next one. If I didn't have to send someone in, I could send a drone in. And through a lot of work with, Southern Manatee Fire Rescue, Romeo Dersher was able to get a lot of that studied, and actually found out that drones made this process better by washing those gases over the sensors. So, we could go on and on and on, and it's something I always jokingly say, the sky's the limit with this. You're only limited by your imagination when it comes to the use of these. And 3D mapping on disasters has been another great tool we used. Coming up in a couple of weeks, or actually a couple of days, will be the 1-year anniversary of a tornado that struck the Dallas area, almost downtown, and right off of Love Field. And we were out there doing mapping missions that week, and modeling that for them for that. So, I didn't touch more on the law enforcement, I know, but I do want to say the things I've watched Chula Vista do. Number one, I'm jealous. I wanted to do way back when they started getting into the drone as a first responder. That was something I wanted to do. I didn't have the resources. But I've also been able to watch over this pandemic, and I cannot. I brag all the time about their uses with their vulnerable homeless population, and I cannot stress enough how great I feel that has been with the use they've had there. And I'll let Don talk more to that, but that's another just phenomenal use that we didn't have the capabilities of years ago. So.
Yeah, so I too am afraid of stealing the thunder from Don and Derrick, who can speak to what's happening out there right now. So I appreciate I want to echo what Wayne said about the thanks to you, Brian, for hosting, and the Arizona Drone Fest people for putting this on. It's a pleasure to be here. Maybe I'll take a different angle. I think one of the neat things that's happening differently now is not only the use cases that we'll all touch on, but how we're moving drones to the front line. Much like in law enforcement, you'd have your special weapons and tactics you'd take a specialized team with advanced training, and they were they were a great resource, but sometimes they weren't there when you needed them, not there in the first moments of an emergency. So there's a big effort in the industry to making tools and making waivers that really push the drones to the front edge and leading edge of response. DFR is a perfect example, right, where you're sending out the drones before ground units. But even agencies that are responding traditionally, they're finding ways to get them, expanding their teams, putting drones in the trunk. The recent waiver that Chula Vista got, the tactical beyond visual line of sight waiver, means that they could do it, fly beyond visual line of sight, don't need a team of VOs, and really putting drones ahead of ground units in sort of a mini DFR on a case-by-case basis where the drone is actually getting ahead of ground units. It's basically a tool to see the future, and the use cases and the developments and changes in regulation and operations that it's enabling. That's pretty exciting.
Okay, great.
Derrick,
do you have anything?
I can jump in on there. I don't want to just assume that everybody knows what DFR is, a drone as a first responder. So those of you who don't know, so in 2018, the IPP was corrected, the Integration Pilot Program, where the FAA wanted to see how to integrate drones into the airspace to not interfere with manned aircraft. So the IPP was created. 10 cities were selected, and the city of San Diego was one of those 10 cities that was selected. The Chula Vista Police Department at the time, and this is where Fritz really was kind of forefront in thinking this, a startup company reached out to the Chula Vista Police Department and talking to Fritz, who was an avid UAS operator, decided to have a concept of nesting drones throughout the city and having a teleoperator at the police department who's monitoring incoming calls and can hear those 911 calls coming in and immediately launch a drone for any call for service, for any emergency, immediately launch the drone and then feed video link to the officers in the field and our dispatchers. So to date, the Chula Vista Police Department, we've used it almost 3,800 missions since November of 2018. So in about almost 2 years, we've had 2 launch locations that have 3 nautical miles each. So we're beyond visual line of sight. And we've done a proposal to the FAA to have citywide coverage for additional 2 more locations, which would give us 100% coverage. So I just wanted to say, so that kind of, when you look at how UAS drones are being used for public safety, we like to think that this is doable for all agencies. Chula Vista, we're just north of the Mexican border, just south of the city of San Diego. So we're very fortunate in that we have a mild climate. It's 70 degrees years round, so it's not too bad. We don't have any snow or real high temperatures, and our city's fairly flat. So it was really the best case scenario for us. So we've been very successful with the drone as a first responder. And a lot of this information is on our department website.
So have you seen other agencies show interest in hopefully starting a program like this in the future? Have other agencies reached out to you for guidance?
Oh, absolutely. We have an agency here today who has been here all day looking at the drone as a first responder program. As everybody who's ever dealt with the FAA, getting waivers and COAs and everything, it's a daunting task. We're cops. We don't know a lot of this FAA lingo and where to start and everything else. So being able to share information, Fritz and Skydio, have been very helpful in helping us create some of our waivers and paperwork for the DFR program and for the tactical BVLOS.
Okay, great.